Alright, so this is our YESS project, and it is on the giant panda. So starting off with the overview, when most people are asked what they think of when they think of the words endangered species, most people think of giant pandas, as for it's one of the most popular endangered animals. The giant panda is one of the most rarest members of the bear family. Giant pandas are considered the national treasure of China, to which they are identified as peaceful creatures with unique black and white fur. Giant pandas live mainly in bamboo forests located high in the mountains of western China, where they consume bamboo. These creatures are considered endangered for many factors, including dependent and independent factors, which will be later said in the presby. So as you can see to your left, it's a typical giant panda taken at the Toronto Zoo, and it has bear features, such as the snout and the head and the ears, but it has unique black and white fur. Its order is Carnivora, mass 75 to 100 kilograms for an adult female, 0.09 to 0.13 kilograms for a newborn, which is about the same weight as a cell phone, as I heard at the Toronto Zoo. It's 100 to 120 kilograms for an adult and 45 kilograms at 1 year of age. Length is 120 to 180 centimeters for an adult with a 10 to 15 centimeter tail, 15 to 17 centimeters for a newborn. Its family is Uristae. Its genus and species, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Lifespan, scientists aren't sure how long giant pandas live in the wild, but they are sure it's shorter than lifespans in the zoo. Chinese scientists have reported zoo pandas as old as 35, and lifespan in the wild is approximately 14 to 20 years. Its height is 60 to 90 centimeters. So just showing a comparison to a 6-foot man and a panda, it's about half the size. Okay, I'm moving on to physical description. The giant panda is a black and white bear and has a typical body of bears. It has black fur on ears, eye patches, muzzle, legs, and shoulders. The rest of the animal's coat is white. Although scientists do not know why these unusual bears are black and white, some speculate that the bold coloring provides effective camouflage into their snowy, rocky surroundings. The panda's thick coat keeps it warm in the cool forests of its habitat. Giant pandas have large molar teeth and strong jaw muscles used for crushing through bamboo. The panda's paw has a thumb and 5 fingers, helping it hold bamboo while eating. So, as you can see in the first picture, it's taken at the Toronto Zoo as well, and it's shown to have a bear structure such as the grizzly bear and the other bear, but it has black and white fur. Here's the close-up of its structure of the paw. It has 5 fingers and a thumb, which is a sesamoid thumb that allows it to hold on to bamboo. These are some of the posters we saw at the Toronto Zoo, and they're just informational things about the panda. This one says, because they eat bamboo, pandas evolved to have wide faces. Crunching bamboo stems required strong jaws. The big cheeks of a giant panda contain powerful jaw muscles that make a panda's head look wide in proportion to the size of its body. And this is the head of a panda, and it's a replica of a giant panda skull. It says, on a living animal, the big spaces on either side of the central crest contain large jaw muscles. So if you look at the panda's teeth, they basically look like those of a meat eater. But the big teeth at the back, called molars, are broad and flat to break down tough bamboo and stems and leaves. And that is a replica of the panda's right front paw. Put the bamboo stem between the animal's claws and its extra pseudo thumb. And yeah, that's what it looks like. Overview of its diet. Despite of its taxonomic classification as a carnivora, the giant panda's diet is primarily herbivorous. In the wild, a giant panda's diet is 99% bamboo. The other 1% consists of other grasses and occasionally small rodents. but it's rarely small rodents. It's mostly bamboo. Its ability to digest cellulose is credited to those microbes in its guts. This relationship is also known as obligatory mutualism, where neither species involved could survive without the other. Pandas have carnivore-specific digestive genes, making most of their bamboo undigested, passing quickly through the digestive tract. Bamboos contain very little nutritional value, so some pandas must eat 12 to 85 kilograms every day to meet their energy needs. In zoos, giant pandas are fed foods such as bamboo, sugar canes, rice gruel, and carrots. Pandas adapting to a vegetarian diet defines their life in many ways, since they will often rely on living close to areas with bamboo where bamboo is abundant. Thus, pandas are very vulnerable to any loss of bamboo habitat, which is a key threat to their survival. So this pile shows how much bamboo is offered to animals every day at the zoo, which is about 42 to 64 kilograms of bamboo. And this is how much poop a panda produces in one day, which is a lot from the bamboo. Pandas select the best leaves and shoots, consuming almost half of the volume of the bamboo it starts with. And this is just saying that its daily diet is composes of bamboo, and yeah. Social structure. Adult giant pandas are generally solitary, but they do communicate periodically through scents, marks, calls, and occasional meetings. Offspring stay with their mothers from 1.5 to 3 years. In the wild, giant pandas are terrestrial animals and primarily spends its life roaming and feeding in the bamboo forests of Kunlun Mountains and in the hilly Sichuan province. Pandas are able to climb and take shelter in hollow trees or rock crevices, but do not establish permanent dens. For this reason, pandas do not hibernate and will instead move to elevations with warmer temperatures. During breeding season, pandas approximately to one another gather. After mating, the male leaves the female alone to raise the cub. Feeding adaptation. Giant pandas have developed unique adaptations related to having lived in bamboo forests for millions of years. Because of their own low metabolic rate and sedentary lifestyle, giant pandas are able to subsist on a diet of bamboo from which they derive little protein and energy. The giant panda's molars and premolar teeth are wider and flatter than those of other bears. As said before, these teeth and their powerful jaws allow the pandas to crush and grind tough, fibrous bamboo. Its round face is a result of the powerful jaw and jaw muscles. The stomach walls are extremely muscular to help digest the woody diet, and the gut is covered with a thick layer of mucus to protect against splinters. Pandas usually eat sitting upright. An extra opposable digit is a modified sesamoid bone that enables the panda to grab bamboo. As said before, the coat of black and white to camouflage. Giant pandas get much of the water they need from bamboo, as bamboos are about 90% water. Pandas need more water than what bamboo alone provides, so almost every day wild pandas also drink fresh water from rivers and streams. So, I had an interview with a Toronto Zoo volunteer who explained some of the panda's feeding adaptations and the comparison of a panda skull to a brown bear. So, yeah.
The panda eats this way, and that's how it can eat the bamboo, because the bamboo is very hard and round. And this is the panda shell. And these are really large teeth. And over time, they
Alright, if that video didn't play, please go to my Prezi and check it out. Alright, lifestyle. Pandas spend most of its day resting, feeding, and seeking food. Giant pandas are also known to spend most of their lives alone, with males and females only meeting during breeding season. Recent studies show that small groups of pandas share a large territory and sometimes meet outside the breeding season. And these are taken at the Toronto Zoo, where a panda rests and feeds on bamboo. And this is just a short video on what pandas do. Really, generally peaceful creatures. Okay, reproduction and development. Giant pandas reach breeding maturity between 4 and 8 years of age. Female giant pandas are usually monosterous, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, which means they only have one productive cycle per year, usually March to May. A short period of 2 to 3 days around ovulation is the only time she is able to conceive. Calls and scents draw males and females to each other. Female giant pandas give birth between 95 and 160 days after mating. Although females may give birth to two young, usually only one survives. Giant panda cubs may stay with their mothers for up to 3 years before being on their own. In conclusion, female giant pandas at best can produce young only every other year in her lifetime. She may only raise 5 to 8 cubs. The giant panda's naturally slowing breeding rate prevents the population from recovering easily. At birth, the cub weighs 3 to 5 ounces. It is pink, hairless, and blind, and 1/900th the size of its mother. Pandas are dependent of their mothers for the first few months of their lives, and are fully weaned at 8 to 9 months. Most pandas leave their mothers when she conceives again, usually at about 18 months. So here is a picture of a young panda cub, and right beside is an adult panda. And as you can see, it's significantly larger for the adult panda. Natural enemy and defenses. Natural enemies and predators to adult pandas include jackals, leopards, and the yellow-throated marten. Pandas are solitary and peaceful animals who will usually avoid confrontation, but if escape is not possible, they will fight back by displaying aggression. Giant pandas will lower their heads and stare directly at the opponent. They also use their large size as well. They will use methods like other bears, such as physical strength, but they can be 1.5 meters long and weigh 150 kilograms. So again, that helps with the physical strength. And they have strong jaw muscles and large molar teeth to bite. Pandas can start to climb trees and swim. These abilities make pandas a formidable opponent for the few natural enemies that dare attack them. Alright, so some history about the panda. Fossil evidence suggests that the pygmy, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, giant panda is the earliest known ancestor of the giant panda. It was smaller, measuring around 1 meter in length. The first discovered skull of the animal in South China is estimated to be 2 million years old. Researchers indicate that the giant panda has evolved for more than 3 million years as completely separate lineage than that of other bears. The ancestor of the modern panda were widely distributed over much of eastern and southern China, as far north as Beijing. Today, pandas are considered one of the most charismatic animals, being a symbol of China and of nature conservation around the world. The interest for the panda in the Western world started in the late 19th century and the beginning of the 20th century. Okay, so heading over to population. So I went through a bunch of facts about the panda to calculate the population density and the population change. So some quick facts about the panda population is that there's 1,600 in the wild, that's estimated. So to protect the giant panda, one of the conservation efforts is protecting 10,400 kilometers of giant panda habitat, and 980 pandas are under protection in the reserve. So to calculate population density, the population size and area is needed. So I took the number of pandas in the wild, the number of estimated pandas, which is 1,600 in the wild, and how many hectares China is. So I took the formula, which is population density, number over area, and I divided it and got 0.000143337 pandas per hectare. To calculate population change, percent change in time is needed. So I took the time, I did two separate ones actually. I did 1977 and 1988. So I found out there were about 1,100 pandas in 1977 and 1,000 pandas in 1988. So I did percent change, which is new population minus old, divided by old times 100. And I got negative 9.09. Alright, so from 1988 to 2014, which is more recent, I found that 1988 had 1,000 pandas and that 2014 had 1,600 pandas, which is probably increased because of the zoo protection. So I took those numbers and I calculated the percent change, and then I did percent change divided by how many years, which is 60% divided by 26 years, gives me 2.30 population change from 1988 to 2014. And this is a map of the approximate distribution of remaining panda habitats and associated nature reserves in China. And this is just a map of the area of where giant pandas are found. So habitat. Giant pandas live in moderate temperature broadleaf and mixed forests southwest of China. The habitat must have a dense amount of bamboo and are usually located in the high mountains of western China with elevations between 5,000 and 10,000 feet. Torrential rains or dense mist throughout the year characterize these forests. Mountain ranges in central China, in Sichuan, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, and Gansu provinces. They once lived in lowland areas, but farming, forest clearing restrict giant pandas to the mountains. So, ecological niche. A giant panda's ecological niche includes what it eats, which is mostly made up of bamboo and small organisms. What eats it, which is the predators, leopards, or jackals. The temperature range that it tolerates is cool, moist temperature such as 8 to 23 degrees Celsius. The giant panda's habitat of the forest with plentiful bamboo is also included in its niche, and behavior responses such as reproduction, which is, as said previously, is a part of its ecological niche. So, its food web. In the food web, giant pandas are considered primary consumers, in which they consume mostly producers. They are preyed on by the leopard, which is preyed on by the Bengal tiger. So a close-up of the food web, you can see that the giant panda is right in the middle as a primary consumer, and these are the producers in the green, and on the top is the secondary consumers and then the tertiary consumers, and decomposers are right there. So as you can see, pandas eat bamboo, pandas eat shrubs, and then these primary consumers, including the panda, gets preyed on by the leopard, And then the leopard gets preyed on by Bengal tiger, or the leopard gets preyed on the hyena. So, endangered. Giant panda is listed as endangered in the Wild Conservation Union's Red List of Threatened Species. There are about 1,600 left in the wild, with more than 300 pandas live in the zoo and breeding centers around the world, mostly in China. Population analysis. The potential for a species to produce offspring in one lifetime. Female pandas can produce 2 offspring every other year, but usually one survives, leaving the fecundity of pandas 5 to 8 cubs, which is a slow reproductive rate. So if the population of pandas were to lower, it'd be very hard for them to try to increase the population again with such a low reproductive rate. The birth rate. Slow birth rate affects the population of pandas as they cannot increase population fast, as said already. Mortality, which is death. Pandas only live up to 20 years, which is not that many years to catch up to their birth rate. Immigration. Pandas immigrate to areas with more bamboo. With the deforestation, it has become harder for pandas to find habitats in the wild. Immigration. Immigration may cause pandas to compete when competing for bamboo. So, when they emigrate to areas with more bamboo, more pandas will be there because they won't have any other places to find habitat. So they would all go to the same kind of area. And this is where competition for bamboo comes along, and they have to eat a lot of bamboo. So once there's not a lot of bamboo to go around for pandas will start to decrease in population. Density-dependent factors. Competition between other pandas with bamboo may cause aggression. Predation is very rare, but animals such as leopards do prey on panda cubs, lowering their population, as for they already have a slow birth rate. The alley effect of population of pandas may become too small for individuals to find mates. Density-independent factors. Human intervention. Hunting remains a threat. Poaching of animals for their fur has declined due to strict laws and greater public awareness of the panda's protected status. But poaching for animals does still go on in China, I believe, so that will lower their population and make them endangered. Air pollution will cut temperatures in bamboo forests in China, so there will be no habitat loss. The Yangtze Basin region, which holds pandas' primary habitat, is the geographic economic heart of this booming country. With increasing populations, roads and railroads are increasing in production. Forest destruction isolates panda populations and prevents mating. Forest destruction also reduces pandas' access to bamboo as they need to survive. So as China is a growing area, it is very likely that they will start cutting down forests with bamboo to build houses to support the population.
What are the main reasons why they're endangered?
This is just the video of
Endangered? Yes.
the zoo volunteer talking about endangered
People have moved into their territory and they built roads and towns and farms and kind of pushed the pandas into a few areas of the mountains where all they can eat is bamboo. There isn't much. Thank you so much for the interview.
Alright, so in extinction impact, environmental impacts is the giant panda is one of the most well-known symbols around the world for nature conservation. So by mobilizing people to save the pandas, we are actually helping preserve the rich biodiversity. Plants, landscapes, and other animals that need to be there for the pandas to survive. If they become extinct, not only will we lose an internationally loved species, but also an important factor in motivating people to preserve and re-nourish the environment. Essentially, by helping the pandas to survive, we are in turn also helping ourselves to clean the environment. Furthermore, pandas also play a key role in maintaining the bamboo forest. While the pandas roam, they spread seeds and facilitate the growth of vegetation. Economic. The pandas provide communities with large economic benefits. Through all the tourism that is brought on by the pandas, people wanting to see them in their natural habitats. This revenue is created through eco-tours and viewings that is not only to raise money for panda conservation efforts, but is also to educate people on the situation. Without pandas, these financial benefits would be lost because there would be no more to see. Social. The giant panda's habitat is also home to millions of people by creating a more sustainable environment for them. It is also increasing the quality of life for local populations, particularly in China, where these habitats are located in the social and economic heart of the country. If pandas were to become extinct, efforts in improving and preserving these areas would decline. After the extinction of these animals, logging, poaching, and other animals would progressively take over the land, making it an undesirable location. Aside from the physical disadvantages, the giant panda is also an internationally loved species that has been around since seemingly the beginning of Chinese history, and for it to become extinct would upset very many. Ethical. Since the beginning of the Chinese culture, the giant panda has played a significant role in being a cultural icon. It is deeply interwoven throughout Chinese history and legends, and the loss of the giant panda would cause them great sadness. Not only would their nationally beloved animal be lost, but to kill and destroy the habitats of these gentle, peaceful creatures to the point of extinction would be morally unjust. So, intervention. World Wildlife Foundation was the first conservation organization to work in China at the request of the Chinese government. Their main goal is to assist in policy level conservation decisions by advocating for the survival of giant pandas and bringing forward techniques on how to improve and save the panda lives. Some of these approaches include increasing the area of the panda's habitat that is under legal protection. This will protect the panda habitats by ensuring no poaching occurs within these boundaries, allowing them to live and reproduce peacefully. They also create green corridors to link isolated pandas to larger populations, which will increase its chances of survival and allow it to reproduce. They also patrol regularly against poaching, illegal logging, and encroachment, which could also threaten the giant pandas. Furthermore, they are also continuing to monitor and research the giant pandas in order to gain a better understanding of the animal, all the while building local capacities for nature reserve management. The Toronto Zoo, located in Toronto, Ontario, has become home to 2 giant pandas for the next years due to partnerships signed between Canada and China in efforts to conserve the animals. While at the zoo, they will be free to breed, and the offspring as well as the parents will live together in protection for the duration of their stay. They will not only help the declining population, but bring more awareness to the pandas' severe conditions to who may not know that they are at the brink of extinction. The Smithsonian National Park in the United States has also signed a partnership with China to home 2 more giant pandas, protecting them and promoting breeding while also funding a variety of research projects and other important activities regarding the giant panda within China and the United States. Founded in 1987, starting with only 6 pandas, the Chengdu research base of giant panda breeding in China has become a non-profit organization engaged in wildlife research, captive breeding, and conservation education. The population of pandas has increased 97 from the original 6. They have not taken any pandas from the wild in over 20 years. Collectively, they've had 124 panda births. By trading pandas with other faculties around China, they are maintaining the panda's genetic diversity. They're doing tremendous work in conserving and producing the giant panda and gaining valuable research while doing so. Beginning in 1963, the Wolong Nature Reserve located in China became the earliest, largest, and most well-known giant panda reserve in China. Only a 3-hour drive from Chengdu, this reserve is 200,000 hectares of land protected for the pandas, containing 67 captive pandas of the 150 that are housed there. Their research center is very technologically advanced, making them the leading company for panda propaganda, which in turn creates a revenue for the research and panda faculties. How to help. Donations can be used to fund new programs that are dedicated to breeding the giant panda in order to increase its population / research new ways to conserve and repopulate the species. The building and funding of the new reserve centers where pandas can live and reproduce without any threats. New laws banning the destruction of panda habitats, such as no logging in certain areas, as well as laws against causing harm to the animal. Volunteers to help conserve and improve their habitat. Train volunteers to help treat and retrieve injured or dying pandas. Adopting, sponsoring giant pandas, which will send money towards improving and maintaining the life of your panda. Advertising the state of the giant pandas and promoting awareness. And that is my presentation. Thank you so much for listening, Mr. Hunter.